So I legitimately just made this entire video already, and I screwed it up because I left my headphones in because I'd been listening to music. So we're doing this again. And it was a vulnerable, raw moment. But I feel like when I started this, I wanted to make sure it was real and that I'm not just, I don't know, candidly happy. Because that's not all of this. This isn't all candidly happy. There's a lot of decisions I've had to make and things I've had to do. And so there's two big things that I've felt since I made the decision to leave Mark and to do this, to be a single parent and get divorced. And the first was there's an insane amount of guilt that goes into this. Guilt about what it will do to my kids, guilt what it will do to Mark, guilt what it would do to me, guilt about the people who would have to step in and help, and having to put some responsibility out there to like get assistance from others and all of that, because a lot of people have stepped in and the thing is, like, me and the kids are nobody's responsibility. My kids are nobody's responsibility but mine and Mark's. And so every person who's done something for us has done it out of choice. And so I feel like that's why I try to show as much gratitude and be as grateful as possible. And I wish so much I could give back to these people. And so it's hard to want to and can't. And there's a lot of guilt that kind of eats away at you. But for my kids, I push it aside a lot because there's a lot of the things that we get that are needed or are nice and I know will make them happy. And so I just try to show as much gratitude as I can. But there's a lot of guilt also when you decide to end a marriage. It's not just about pointing out the other person's flaws and saying this is why I'm leaving you. There's been a lot of moments in the last few months and leading up to the choice that I had made to leave of what did I do to break this? Where did I go wrong? What mistakes did I make? Because it's not all one person's fault, of course, and I don't feel that it is one person's fault. I take ownership to the things that I did as well, and I just feel guilt, you know, like I just won't, it's hard to ignore that. And when you already have regular mom guilt that you're not doing enough and you add on these kind of choices, it just makes it a lot worse. But so I've worked on that a lot, the guilt that I have and what did I do to break this and how can I never do this again to myself, my kids, or anybody else. And what can I do to like pay back and help others, and so there's a lot of that. And the other one is fear. Fear is a big thing you feel because, especially in this situation, we had to move across the ocean and across the country back here, and I came with nothing but our bags, and I had to pack them very quickly due to circumstances, and to get back here out of Hawaii, and did so, just brought the clothes that we had that I knew we could fit into bags and stuff to help the kids sleep when we got here. That was my focus. And so I came not knowing what would happen and where things would go. Well, and I feel like as a kind of a control freak, I have had a really hard time realizing that I have to give up a lot of control, whereas normally I like to be like 5 steps ahead of everything. I can't all the time now because there's a lot of things that do fall out of my control, at least short term or even long term. And so there's a situation that I've been faced with in the last couple months that's really left me vulnerable and scared for what will happen next. And that is I've been receiving childcare assistance and they want to take it away because when I get full child support from Mark, it puts me over the cap, the limit for what is deemed as minimum pay for, or maximum pay for receiving childcare assistance. And that being said, it's only a couple $100 more that I bring home every month, even with full child support. And of course the child support is going to change in a couple months because he's moving back stateside, so he's no longer going to get COLA, and of course everything will drop, and so it's going to change, and it's not that much more. It's not enough to pay rent and to pay for food and to take care of my kids. And so we decided the last time we went to court, the court commissioner just ordered that he pay partial rate child support, because she agreed that right now is not the time to like put the kids out of childcare and me lose my job, when that would be taking us backwards in life, because then I of course then would get childcare and I would get all of these things and assistance because now I don't work, and so that's what they did. But the child support agency of course didn't approve or agree with that, because they want to just get me off childcare assistance, even if it means that we don't make enough money to do anything. I mean, I would literally bring home less than $500 a month total. That's not after bills, that's total. That would be to pay my bills and provide for the kids after childcare. And so they reported to the child care assistance that I am not in cooperation, and if you are not cooperating with child support agency, then they can deny your child care assistance. And I did not find out until Saturday that they had approved it, but that they can then turn around and not authorize the funds because of it. And so that is what has happened. They have not authorized the funds for January, and so I have no child care assistance going into next month as of today. And that leaves a lot of fear, because you don't know what to do. I mean, I have plans. I have things I'm going to try to do this week. I'm going to try and fight and see if there's a way to make it work, but then I also have to fear, on top of that, my job, because I can't just leave work to take care of things. I mean, I can, but I'm pretty low on my personal time because I've had to use it for things like this and taking care of the kids. And of course, if you know, 2 weeks ago, I of course got a concussion and had to take time off of work because of it. And so I pretty much have a very limited amount of time that I can go to take care of what I need to. And I have a very limited window before I need to have this approved, because I need to be able to pay for childcare starting next week for the month. And my childcare is it's almost $1,000 a week. So that's a lot of money to come up with out of thin air. And I just have a lot of fear. That situation is very scary to be faced with. To be the alternative is I quit my job and then of course live on welfare and try to find a way to pay my rent and everything else while taking care of my kids and not having a job. And meaning taking away their daycare, which I know I've talked about how much I love them and how great they are and how my kids have flourished so much being there. And I'm not saying that as a stay-at-home mother it would be less, but I can't make ends meet as much. I can't give them the same life living on just child support and welfare. And I don't want that life for me or them. I want to be working towards a better goal of having a better job where I don't need any sort of assistance. And it's just this one assistance, this one aid I need until the kids are all in school, or at least the boys start school. And so I'm just really terrified of what's going to happen. And I'm trying to stay focused on the positive. I'm gonna work really hard to figure out a way to make it work, but the unknown is scary, that in a week I could lose all of that. And because of that one thing, I could lose everything. And so it's hard. It's hard to have a lot of vulnerability and to have that moment where everything could go away. And I'm trying, I know everybody says be positive and everything, and I'm, it's easy to say that, and it's easy to try really hard to stay focused on that, but it's hard to also hide the feelings of fear. And to know that it's on me to take care of it, because it's my responsibility, and I'm the one that has to do it for myself. I'm the one that has to drop off the paperwork. I'm the one that has to ask the questions and make the phone calls, and I have to do all of that because it's all my information. And so it's hard and it's scary and it's a lot of work. And I'm scared that even if I get it approved now, I'm not done. I still have to fight for this, and I'm going to have to keep fighting for it just until I don't need it. It's one temporary aid, and it's hard and scary to show this because this is a vulnerable, raw thing that is happening. This is a big moment, this is a lot of feelings and emotions and scary and vulnerability. But I feel that if I'm going to do this, I'm going to be real, and I'm not going to cover things up, or I want to just make sure that it's completely authentic. And on top of that, I think it's important people see that this is something people are faced with. This is a real situation where my choices possibly lose my job, give up my job because I can't have childcare, because I can't afford it, or I don't know, I guess I really don't know what to do if I don't get childcare assistance. Like, I didn't come here with things that I can just sell, and I need a car to get us around, and we really didn't come here with things. All the things that we have are other people's, or used, or cheap, and you can't sell it, or it's a bed on the floor for my kid. So this is a real thing, and I think it's important that people see that it's a real thing that people are faced with, and that it needs to be known that it's a real thing. So this is what I'm going into this week, is fear. And fighting again, tooth and nail, to try and make sure that I keep this life that my kids know and I've just gotten comfortable with, so they don't lose it, because that would be unfair to them. They have already gone through enough, and so I want to make sure they don't lose their daycare, and I don't want to lose my job, and I want to be able to make it work. So I'm going to find a way. I'm going to work really hard, but it's scary. It is very scary to do, and to do it alone. And everybody will say you're not doing it alone, but it's not the same as having somebody there fighting with you in the ring that has your back the whole time. And so it's hard and it's scary. So I guess wish me luck that it turns out, and that they accept the stuff that I'm going to submit. Oh, and I'm disgusting right now. That they'll accept it, and then they'll approve it hopefully before next week, so that the kids can keep going to their daycare and I don't have to lose my job. So, yeah.